Anyways, welcome to Bloodmoon. As you can see, it has been remastered. No longer is it just this weird big jellyfish thing. Instead, now it's a kind of caltrop-like device in the middle, and you've got all these little spikes kicking around it. So, going to be an interesting match. In the blue trunks, we have Roars, Microsoft Edgelord, Ziggurat, and Lost Leviathan. In the orange trunks, we have Star 1954, Dramas, Vine, and Pinot 09. So, they're going to be dropping on this side. Taking a look at the map, you see it is a nice even distribution of points. A point, C point, and B point in these neutrals down this line. D point for the blue team natural, and then E point for the orange team natural, ANS and OSP respectively here. So, rooting for Lost Leviathan, let's see. Yeah, Lost Leviathan gave me a little bit of praise, and as we know, as a VTuber, I can obviously be bribed by the tiniest little bits of praise and all that. So, hey, we're back into business. Gonna see what people bring out. I want to see a good, clean fight, and by which I mean I want to see some creatures. I want to see some violence. Show me what you got, players, because we are going to have some fun. Woo! Attention plus validation. Yes, exactly. Just you need a little bit of that in your life. Just like, just a little smidge here and there. And I will say, although it was not intended, the kind of extended, like, stream downtime break thing, I did go back and look at the end of the VOD. It's really weird because on my capture side, it was completely scuffed. Like, I could not see any of the previews, and like it was not showing me anything, and the chat was completely glitched out, but at least y'all could hear me effectively. So we take those. Yeah. Hope we get these things to work out. And I do have that video, so eventually, again, I keep telling myself at some point I'll do some VOD upload. I'll probably kick myself in the actual gear because we're getting some very good viewership here, and I want to show off some of the older stuff on the channel and get up to the modern VODs and things, because I really do just need to start hitting the upload and finalize thing for them, but hey, that'll be things that we deal with when we do. Anyways, welcome to Bloodmoon. Let's actually refocus on the game. Blue team is deploying mostly towards this right side, going heavy on that B side, a little bit on the C, also dropping on the D point here. Might be a couple of their carrier assets here as I bump the mic, don't mind that. Orange team, on the other hand, kind of going for their right side rotation. A little bit of NASCAR looking like it's going to be the name of the game. C point, a nice place you can kind of rotate around, keeping your aggression up there as you are in gun range of the enemy. A point you can attack into, and then ANS over here probably going to take the B side. We'll just get both teams capping their natural, and we'll see where it goes from there. I have not casted a game on Bloodmoon Remastered, and I have actually... No, I've not actually gotten a chance to play on this either. I've seen games played on it, but I have not actually gotten a chance to, like, get my hands on it down and dirty, although I do know that it looks quite cool. So let's take a look at what the players are bringing into the games here now. I'm seeing a pair of tugs here, I think, coming in here. Can't quite read the name as the lighting is not quite good enough for that, but hey, trust me when I say it's a pair of tugs. Hang on, my camera's being funky. Let me just fix that before we start. All right, there we go. That should probably fix things. Okay, let's take a look. What do we got to start off with? We're going to see Dramas coming in here with a pair of these, not exactly multi-mission tugs, but kind of a multi-purpose tug, as these have the talisman launchers on top, which makes them very good at hunting down some of the lighter ships. You see they've got their big bulk magazine in the safe spot kind of up here in the, what do they call this, like the kind of observation deck, bridge, whatever you want to say there. So nice way to bring that along. We see they've got some SGMs and SDMs. You can fire both of those out of the launcher there, so that's quite cool. Pair of them deployed here. Both have huntresses, so they can probably operate in tandem or apart. Leading their fleet, we're going to see that they have got a 450 broadside bulker. This thing is going to be delivering some nice direct firepower. Look at that little golden halo. I'm going to call it golden, kind of like a... It's like rose gold. I'm not sure exactly the color, but yeah, nice illumination. We see there's some fighters potentially in the back of this thing with those small hangars. Let's check the board. Yep, couple of pikes and a skiff halberd. Nice little way of getting some fighters onto the board here. We see there's a T20 VLS Pavis, classic little cringe capper. These things are great value. Love to see these things around. I'm seeing a total of 3 of them, and then a little chaff boy with some Pavis as well. Carrier player is going to be Pinot over here. They've got themselves their own little carrier that they've remixed the hull on. The Shoe Pass is the name of the game. Got some Sturgeon bombers in there. Already seeing some of these things queuing up to launch out. See, they got some Barracuda fighters as well. Quite a compliment in this thing, as one would expect from a 3K carrier. A couple pikes and the halberd skiffs as well, just for a little bit of scouting. Them getting their air wings out right now. Star with kind of a classic fleet here. Acello leading the pack. 250s on this thing, though. Interesting. Go for that closer quarters. Does not have access to RPF like the ANS does, so... Escorting that, going to be C30 in the nose with some plasma on these monitors. Okay, 1, 2, and then 3 of those along the T20 sidearms. So that's quite interesting. Only point defense of the fleet appears to be on this Acello, so that's going to be kind of cool to see. Vine is going to be coming in with these Acello pairs over here. seeing 1 and 2. These things kind of classic Mark 66, 450 guns. They got Sarissas, they got Auroras, and yeah, just a whole bunch of point defense on these things. Bullseye lock, and I think an empty slot on the back. Yeah, it doesn't look like they have anything in there, so really going for the firepower. Pretty skeletal in these things, missing a lot of the front compartments here, so they did pay the premiums taking those Auroras and the Sarissas as well, as they do cost quite a few points. 65 each is not cheap. Hoping that the game audio is the right levels, or so. Let me just double check on that. Audio, yeah, that looks about right. So if it's too quiet, let me know. We can adjust things accordingly. Anyways, C point over here. We're seeing some missiles going off here. A little Heck-P. Was that a size 1 Heck-P? Excuse me, sir. That's illegal. What? That was a size 1 Heck-P. What is wrong with you? Oh, what a game. What a glorious game. Okay, so, yeah. You're not allowed to do that, sir. Just trying to, so that's a little tech you can use against a capper that does not have any PVs. Although in this case, the ship here does actually have PVs to counter against that. So that's really interesting to see that kind of go off. So Rora's trying to do some interesting little tech there. Anyways, the Chonk is going to be the other ship in their fleet. We are seeing 2 450s on this battleship, double carrier pads, going for a small pad and a large pad on the back. What does this thing have? Got a couple Tantos, multiple types, and then some skiffs in this thing as well. Actually has some extra space in these, because you fit 4 in here, and then it'd be like 2 up in here. Okay, maybe they haven't launched yet, so there we go then. All right, anyways, the little cringe capper that could, or rather could not in this case, gets taken out handily up top, so C point remains neutral. Let's take a look at these caps right now. We're going to see down here on the E point, OSP in control, A point as well, they roll out. And because they were smart, they were not going to forehead into the enemy forces. So B point and D point going to go into the hands of the ANS. So 3 cap will open up for the OSP right here. And meow, yeah. Oh, those exactly size 1X act Heck P. Yeah. So there is, okay. Before I get any further, I want to address this real quick. There is a tech for this. Because as we discussed before, the OSP can get a completely naked 8-point capper for like 70 points. They can invest in like an arming missile and a chaff box for an extra 6 points. That's like 76 points. Probably want to give it like a rapid locker that takes you up to 86. However, most of the time you don't bring a Pavis on those. So if you have a size 1 Heck P that just happens to go forwards and, oh, I don't know, just like smack one of these things into basic CIC, that's actually kind of effective. It doesn't have to be great. It just has to do just enough damage to do that. So cute little text there being experimented with. Anyways, let's get back in the game. So, Lost Leviathan coming down here. They've got themselves, ooh, we have got a pair of rails on this thing. So rails got reworked in the patch. They are now 3-round bursts with like a 100-second cooldown. So it does take some time, but this can put 6 rail shots out in about 5 seconds. Very scary. Escorting it is going to be another one of these. They have launch pads on the back. Not the most point defense on these things, looking around them, seeing very empty shoulders. Only 2 defenders apiece. So maybe a little bit vulnerable on that. In the Eternals, a lot of energy regulators in these things. Yeah, just E-regs to high hell and back. Small drive, man, come on. You know you get more power out of it. You could even maybe fit like another thing in here or something. Oh well. You remember to take your large drives, guys. Maybe they're really short on cash. Anyways, the Spotter is going to be the 3rd ship in the fleet. They get a little chin-mounted Pavis. Call them Pavis defenders, Pavis. You know what it is. 20mm point defense is the name of the game. They got their bullseye locker here. This thing is just going to be a cheap little frontline radar meant to spot the enemy and then unleash rails upon them. We covered roars. We're going to look at what Edge has brought. Edge has got himself a little, looks like, double chaff box on this thing, along with these little Mark 62s, I believe. You can actually take the larger chaff box for more hit points. I'm not sure why they went with the small ones here. Maybe just personal preference. I guess they just had points. Prowler drive on this thing, so low profile, spyglass, and adaptive radar receiver. All right, interesting little way to get some scouting there with some guns. Escorting it is going to be a little Mark 62 and chaff, and then defender. Again, it's like, there's the 21 or 23 again. Come on, man, you gotta take those larger chaffs. Like, it's free. It costs literally nothing. It's just extra, like 50 hit points or so on that module. Anyways, I won't backseat Edge too much, but me and him are kind of buddies now and then, so I see him around. All right, let's see. Besides the little smooching action we got going on here, there's going to be another one of these pairs, Mark 62 brick plus the Defender and stuff Corvette style there. So probably just trying to go for some AWACS and the form of the frigate, and then trying to go with just some little gunfighty stuff there. So cute little gun wings they got. And lastly, rounding it out, we've got this little Defender gun brick. So just pretty simple little Corvette there. We got a beam destroyer, most likely. Yep, there you go. Has Mark 62s to see off fighters and stuff. Has those defenders on the side. I wasn't a big fan of Mark 62s on destroyers before, but I am kind of coming around to them now, since that RPF is proving to be pretty good at seeing off fighters and other things lingering in your combat zone. So Destroyer back here as well, just hiding. This one's going to protect that D point. This one's going to protect that B point. So nice little goalie setup. Good to see some actual Cap Fleet gaming going on here. Another one of these little bricks. So I think we already covered that one. Yeah, because there's like 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, so this is on the bottom of the map. That's what we missed. Just a little naked kind of, well, maybe not naked capper, but just a very cheap, cost-effective gun capper. So a little bit of light stuff there. Lastly, Ziggurat rounding out the comp here. We see they've got some size 3 hybrids on the back, if I had to guess, right? Yeah, look at those things. Very nice. 16 of them. They got defenders and stone walls around this thing. A bullseye on the chin. Noticeably, this does not have chaff or actually any soft kill, so it's going to be entirely reliant on its other ships for that. Luckily, it appears to have an escort, size 2 launcher, Mark 64, and a chaff box on the belly. So nice to see we're actually getting some capitals that have these escorts with like the kind of picketing assets and stuff. Pulsifer, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Pull up a chair. We're just getting started in this match. Okay, bit of RPF rounds going off, making sure that this Halberd class skiff is going to be evading. They do not want to get blasted by any of those. And the rest of Ziggurat's fleet was just another one of these escorts. I do like seeing this now. See, it feels just right. You know, you see a cruiser, it's got escorting frigates. Something about that just feels right. Little picket craft there. Strike craft are actually a threat. You have to worry about potentially rocket shuttles as well. Anyways, singular flight just going to go out here. Has heck, size 1 heck piece. Okay, so again, more of those like little naked ship hunters. Kind of an odd tech. They don't really have the speed to do like much, but maybe if you hit just right, you can snipe into a like shuttle or something and just like take out that basic CIC. So this thing is getting Sarissa'd and shot to hell by those flak rounds from the 100 mil guns on this thing. See those secondary batteries somewhere on it. There they are on the tail and there. Wonder if they got them on the chin as well. Yep, there we are. So there's a little bit of an error there. If you type that into the team chat, your allies can click onto those targets and then you can coordinate your fire. But yeah, Woo Carriers update? Yes, Woo Carriers update indeed. We've been casting carrier games all day until my stream crashed and then things happened. But yeah, it's, I don't know, what do we call this? Like, I started around 1 p.m. Eastern, so this is like, what, 7-8 hours stream? Yeah, we're going to keep going with this because I'm having fun. Anyways, looking at some of these sturgeon flights kind of kicking around the rocks here. This is the way I think that carriers are going to be doing some real nasty work. Once people figure out how to essentially barnacle their ships like this, just hiding under a rock, waiting, keeping their sensor assets out, trying to seduce the enemy. Maybe, hey, there's just this free halberd, you should come fight it. Then bam, 6 of these barracudas jump on you. Or if you're like a little corvette around the place, you've got these little foxhound flight of sturgeon bombers here. These things are equipped with 1 torpedo apiece. Okay, a little light on the budget there, but still, that's 2 torps you can throw downrange. Kind of curious why you sent 2 of these. Maybe they just didn't have their stuff necessary to load up. Luffish MeBB. That's a fun name to say. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Caltrop flight is out here. They're taking some RPF rounds that a couple of these missiles are going to be chasing after them. They were looking to see if they could get the hits. I don't think that they did. I believe that they've already fired off all of their rockets here. Yeah, the R3 Spearfish, and I don't believe that they got any effect on target. Yeah, it looks like they... Maybe they did, actually. I'm seeing some impacts here, so okay, maybe a little bit of a splash. Probably 1 rocket's worth splattered there, so there we go. Shock, your voice is kept up, especially after yesterday. I am surprised too, but I'm not going to complain. So if we just don't pretend, like if I just pretend I haven't streamed all that time, then it'll be fine. Okay, looks like ANS gonna get one of their fighters picked off here. I saw briefly the furball indicator pop up and then disappear. So I'm guessing that these guys just splashed that target and then went home. So there we go. Bit of the RPF coming off here as, yeah, Edge doing a good job with these little RPF shots, trying to keep those fighters away, saying, no, you can't come over here. We've got about 7-kilometer no-go zone. Get out of here. One of these SGM-2s here. HE-shaped is on this thing. HE-shaped going and missing. So there you go. Goes to show that, yes, you do want blast frag for taking out those little guys. They're trying to send something on it. I'm not sure who threw one of those. I really can't tell. Yeah, these are meant for more anti-ship warfare rather than the anti-craft that we're seeing there. So potentially they just had the wrong type queued. Let's see. Ceremonial arming missile. Nice to see one of those in there. Basilisks. Okay, so those have got to be just set up wrong then. Or maybe they meant to take the defensive multi-stage things. Exiled to Caltrop for 10 billion years. Oh, no. Oh, also we got a big sippy request. So everyone, I need you to pop your little bottles open. We're going to sip some water together. There we go. You know, actually, chat, I think that's it. I think that's how I managed to stream this long. You've all been reminding me to stay hydrated, and I've been keeping my throat nice and wetted by the lovely water bottle that accompanies me onto all my streams. Anyways, 450 exchange appears to be going off here as we see these Acellos putting their nose on towards target and then opening up There's going to be a battleship here that is having something to say about it. Battleship does not have the most 450 though, which is kind of surprising because normally you see these things taking the full 8 barrels forwards facing. In this case, electing to go for just a few extra fighters. I'm not sure I agree with that. I like the backpack slot. I think getting a flight of 4 fighters is a nice little defensive asset to have on your battleship. Does mean you give up having the beam. Ooh, missiles galore. Hello. Perch rockets are being deployed here. I don't think those will have enough pen to get through this thing. No, Perch rockets, unfortunately, the size 1 variety, even less than the conventional R2 rockets that we're so used to, the Piranhas. So, yeah, that's not going to quite do it. Bit of a battle carrier. Yeah, that's a good term for it. Has stone walls in these cheeks, which are not the greatest. These fire arcs are notoriously bad. Despite how it might look, they are really like limited. Like as you see here in that angle, that's about as much swing as you get. So have to be careful. These stone walls, I think they're 40 points apiece and you're not really getting good coverage. Maybe if you want to put them somewhere, put them up front here so they get better hemispheres, but yeah. How long does it take to re-up a flight? To queue up a flight, it depends entirely on the carrier and what modules they have. So we can see they've got a bunch of these gear lockers here, which increases your readying speed. 3 of them, it gets you like, I think it's a 132% speed buff we saw. And then there's some other modules like we should see. Yeah, the flight deck traversal system. These things make it so that your pads here will go up and down faster, allowing you to launch and land your craft that much quicker. So there's there's ways of buffing it, but at the same time, it does still take time to equip your ships with fuel tanks and jamming pods and rockets and all the other goodies. So the aspirant flight over here, the halberd at the top of the map, is going to be keeping its eyes awake and open. Anna's just kind of migrating their way forwards here. There's not really much in the way to roadblock this advance. The carrier needs to get out of dodge and soon. If it's spotted by this little corvette down here, then it'd be in trouble. Looks like a reactor bloom went off there from that shuttle that got picked off at one point. So yeah, this thing, it does have reinforced CIC and reinforced drive, so it's a tough little shit. That said, a coordinated attack effort will definitely see this thing brought low because it's got a pop gun to defend itself and half of its defenders are done. Also, its chaff box is dead. So yeah, this flight over here, potentially with those KPU-15 bombs, kind of hard to see right now, but those could be a very nasty threat against Microsoft Edgelord's little capper that could down here on the E point. Still, holding that 3 cap is very nice. All right, Monitor Ball is engaging over here.
You have really nice balls.
Hey, Pulsifer, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Just in time to see some purple burp action going off. Hello. The tolling bell is going to be cooked like a fish on the side. Oh my god, he's gotten the charcoal broiling experience there. Look at that cinematics just right against the wall. Just screenshot that. That is... let me... can I... Ooh, yeah. Look at that. That is so pretty. This game... Nebulous is fucking beautiful, man. Let's look at that. Anyways, the tolling bell is going to be blasted in the sides there, and then it's going to get opened up on by these 250s. I was thinking to myself, I don't know if that's going to be enough plasma in this game. Maybe they don't get the hits on target. 6 plasma turrets, maybe they can, maybe they can't. Anyways, I've been proven wrong because this thing is now opened up on the side and it's going to eat it very rapidly. We saw some rails go off, though. Not sure which ships they hit, if any. The rails were fired all the way from the back line here, so it's going to take them a little bit to get onto target. We should see, yep, there we go, some effect on target. The fumed Dyer, the rapid locker, is going to take a critical hit there. Not the worst damage, all things considered. One thing you should note is that your guns, they will fire with a certain degree of error. So if you have guns with a very long cycle time like these rails, set your guns to hold fire, lock onto your target, wait until they flash green, and then hit fire. That way it guarantees your first shot will hit, because you don't want like 1/3 of your volley just to go whiffing off into the abyss because your gunner's got a little trigger happy. Radar quality clearly not the best here, or maybe they're flying evasively as those rails do have a little bit of travel time. Anyways, look at all the DACA going into this thing. That Axford is having a horrible time. Dual magazine in this thing for all of the ammunition in the world, and that is kind of keeping it alive, as that's a super reinforced stack. 40 damage threshold split across 3 of these things. It's going to be rough to break it. If they swap over to AP or start hitting with some like lucky shots, there we go. Yeah, one of those gets taken out like that, then these two suddenly are much more vulnerable. So we'll see how that goes down. All right, Dramus over here recapping the E point. They have managed to see off Edge's little capper that could. That said, this thing is still alive. It does have its radar, although one panel is out, so potentially it could spot this carrier, and that could lead to some plays. Noticing where the carrier is very important, as you can try and force them into a unfavorable engagement as they have to try and rapidly move themselves from the area. That means they cannot launch in land craft as they are going too fast. All right, yeah, the tolling bell is just having itself torn apart. The entire front, like, arc of the ship is gone. Probably going to see the CIC and mag follow it as well. There is still restores, these 2 large lockers keeping themselves alive down here, but That is a lot. I think that's actually excessive plasma at this point. Like, you kind of need to hold off on it being a little too trigger happy, because at a certain point, you just know you've hit this thing with enough plasma to cook it. All right, a little bit of a contestation going on C point, as we see over here Edge trying to send something up here. Mark 62 is unfortunately out of RPF. It has used... Oh, no, it's not used its RPF up. Instead, the magazine is getting knocked out. So Drama's taking a cap advantage here, as the little T-20 shuttle is going to be showing this little Corvette how it is done. I say a little too much, but I don't know. I love my little spaceship. You know, I just feel like I'm a kid in a bathtub, you know, just playing with like my little Nebulous boats. Anyways, Daka. The tolling bell is just gone now, as all of these have been knocked out. It's only a matter of time before that gets knocked. They do fix the mag, but at what cost? There is one restore left. If that thing gets popped, this ship is dead. No two ways about it. Let's see if they can find that shot or not. So that thing will probably go down. That's it. The battleship is now also entering into plasma range. This is not what you want to do. This is the power of having some of these plasma ships on your team. You can peel apart assets like this. The heavy armor, the battleship, and the expert means nothing once it has been cooked by these little purple dudes. So, you know what? Everything's just little from now on. There we go. You're little guys. I'm little guys. These are little ships. Yeah, it's perfect. Look at this. I see nothing from here because they are all so small. All right. Anyways, CCAP continues to go on as the little Comet Capper tries... Oh, no. Ooh. Because these are higher priority, unfortunately, they will not be fixing the magazine because it considers, hey, CIC is essential. Now CIC has been repaired enough and the priority order issued. There we go. They're going to fix the mag now. Edge able to step on the micro and realize what is happening over there and correct it. More gunfire just going down over there. We see, once again, in the backfield here, these rails... These are a useful asset, but not where they're deployed right now. They're not providing any threat to the team, so this is essentially a 3K that is just not in combat. With rail and mass drivers and these other like long-range direct fire assets, you need to be in an area where you can provide suppression fire and swing fights. And in this case, unfortunately, with the advance that was pushed here, that is just not going to be the case. Plasma stripping off the front armor of this battleship. Look at that one. Another... Can I get this the Halo? Yeah, I can. Look at that. Oh, that is so pretty. Yeah, that's another screenshot for the folder there. BB thought, nah, I'd win, and unfortunately, yeah, Plasma is having a good time. Entire top of the battleship has been taken off. Spyglass with track correlators. Is this quad track correlated? I only see one of them so far. No, it's got 2 radars in it? You mad lad, you. Okay. Reinforced drive and a regular as well. Huh, all right. There's the magazines. 3 mags. Wow. That's a lot, because, every mag after the first one you do have to pay for, so that is a lot of budget invested into magazines and such onto this device. And dual radar is also very power taxing, so yeah. I'm not so sure about that, Battleship Chief. Anyways, the Axford down here is still technically alive. They did restore their CIC, but if they do get some good hits or structure break this thing, which it's got to be approaching given the amount of damage it's taken, and considering that all those, they should be penning, so they're dealing damage, just their explosion is not hitting anything. This thing should structure break at some point, and then that CIC is gonna pop. So, we'll see how that ends up going. Reinforced drive will be basically invulnerable, but yeah. Anyways, here's a bombing flight that looks like they maybe came by and just smacked it. Hard to say, actually. They still have 1 torpedo. I guess they just didn't fire off, so, maybe they aborted their flight. Hard to say exactly. Anyways, seeing Edge down here still technically alive. Carrier is launching another flight. These guys have Spearfish rockets, so they're going to be seeing if they can to do a little bit of direct fire. Speaking of direct fire, let's take a look over here as a pair of tugs is going to be eating good today. The Haze is suffering heavily. Reinforced compartments do keep this thing alive, but not for long. The nose guns will follow up shortly. Those Talisman launchers being put to good effort as they're able to fire off 2 missiles here. Same with its partner. So in total, you've got a 4 missile salvo, much as you would see with an MLS-2. But this comes with the dual purpose of having this as defensive armament as well. If you have, say, the SDM launches, then you can potentially shoot down craft that come nearby. Nice to see some of these little techs from more experienced players here. Dramas has been around for a little bit now, and, well, they're going to be collecting some of these little cappers that wandered onto the wrong point. So, yeah, nice little Guardian wing there doing their job. I am looking forward to seeing all these little techs because with carriers, there's so much new stuff and there's so many new little techs and like assets. You saw before in the previous patches, you'd get like maybe a pair of Hunter Corvettes that kind of go around the map. They lock onto something of the bullseye, try and use their VLS-2s to hit somebody. Now you've got that VLS-2 tech seeing the anti-strike craft missiles, the SDMs. They're sent out at different places. You've got these Talisman launchers kind of mirroring that effectiveness, very similar to the Corvettes. Actually, probably about the same price because they both come at like 75 points for the hull, if I remember right. So, yeah, Hayes here unfortunately losing it. That's going to be Edge losing another one of the cappers there, which is not great. Ziggurat basically out of the game. Tolling Bell is still somehow alive, but it's just playing possum at this point. It's not going to live through that at any time if it does get fired again. All right, they do have an escort ship here that is kind of hanging back. They've got a nice little detachment of zoning tools here, keeping the carrier from being able to fully rip into these targets. They know that this battleship has been wounded and seen off, and they know that they've taken out basically a Axeroid, which is usually about half of a fleet's budget, give or take. Sometimes a little more if they invest heavily into that backpack like we saw they did. Unfortunately, only 4 of the 16 missiles did get a chance to be fired off. Here are some rockets. Like I said, they have to be careful with zoning tools. Those big rockets are going to just fall short of that battleship. Unfortunately, the bomber's not quite able to get it, as the battleship's point defense is still fully active, and they have a lot of stone walls. So yeah, between the 2 defenders and the 2 stone walls, 3 defenders actually looking at the chin there. So that is the angle you don't really want to take with these, but still, they gave it a shot. Those rockets are only 2 points a pop. So since I believe there's a flight of 4 here, they fired 8. That's only like, what, 16 points? Honestly, not the worst investment. They'll just go back, refuel, rearm, and do it again. All right, let's take a look here. So, noticing the ship is still alive, we're going to see over here, this is Star deciding to open up against the Tolling Bell. So, yeah, this thing is going to get bell tolled. There we go. CIC gets bonked for a little bit there. They are firing AP rounds, which has me a little questioning. AP rounds would be the right call from these Mark 65s, as they'd be able to deal all of the damage into one singular component area. Maybe they just had AP rounds loaded against a threat like the battleship, but we'll see if they end up smacking it or not. Unfortunately, not enough to break that damage threshold. Could potentially kill the crew. There we go. That is a structure break. That is what we want to see. So if they hit this thing with HEHC or with the 250 rounds, it will break that CIC in 2 seconds flat. So potentially can keep them that. Anyways, 604 points to 596. ANS did have some caps, although OSP has now finally managed to swing it back around and are sitting on a 3-cap situation. Nothing threatening the A point. D point is secured by Microsoft Edgelord's beam destroyer back here. B point they've migrated away from, recognizing that the threats are over here, and they've kind of boxed them into this section of the map. If you take a look, OSP mostly relegating themselves to kind of this quarter of the map here. You see they've got a little bit on the top and bottom, but still, in terms of the sphere that we're actually looking down on, they're still kind of in this zone with their little detachment over there. Most of them actually in a line here as they're kind of squaring off against the ANS's front line. ANS does have a pretty fierce front line, but the question is, can it hold up against this many Spearfish rockets? Let's find out as all these point defense guns fire off. Just barely some of those getting their way through. Reactors and all the damage control teams migrating their way over to fix up everything. Does get a CIC snipe as well, so yeah, battleships, they're tough, but with the armor reduced like this and with like the amount of rockets you can throw at somebody, those R3 rockets, like I said before, they just went back for another flight. Dozer flight here having a good time. Those bombers are healthy. They're going back for more. Cheetah flight here queued up. Let's see, what do they have? That looks like just some air superiority wings there. Just a couple of, rocket pods actually on those. Potentially going for hunting light ships. Carriers, you have to think a little bit ahead because with your flight times, it does take you a little bit to queue up your next wing. You see, I don't think any of these are actually queued up right now, so they might need to, either it's a visual bug and we don't see them queuing their orders, or they might need to load up some more munitions. We will find out. Always want to be planning what your next move will be, as you have to try and set yourself up about, I don't know, maybe it takes about 2 minutes to get your flight properly locked and loaded, and then like 3-4 just to kind of get them up in the air. Anyways, Arbiter flight over here. A couple Tantos just trying to evade some of that incoming flak fire off of Dramis's ship here. 450 Bulker with secondary batteries is going to see off some of those lighter threats if they are not prepared for a serious engagement. I don't get how this thing is still alive, and I don't think it's going to be. Yet recognizing this thing is quite weak, that flight of Barracudas is going to be trying to knock it out. There you go. Those perch rockets finally enough to make this thing think twice. That, or maybe some of those shots managed to actually bite in. We saw there was some 450 off of various targets as well. So finally secure themselves that Axeroid kill. It just sat there refusing to die for so long. Anyways, OSP now pulling ahead on the points a little bit further. They're about, let me just do math real quick here. Yeah, there we go. That many points. So let's call that 36 points ahead. So they are approaching that 1,000 point limit to win this game. So they are getting much closer towards that winning point, but at the same time, ANS could get themselves a cap and flip this around once again. They are wounded, though, as basically Ziggurat is out of the game. Roars is having a bad time with their battleship. The nose has taken some damage, and they are kind of suffering across the ship. Battleship losing that extra 5% repair max that it had in the previous patch does mean that these things are going to stay a little bit oranger or redder than you would see them previously, so not quite as unkillable as ye olden days, where battleships just, for some reason, refuse to die. Axfords too, but they could just repair through things. Still, weaker armor meant you could take them. Anyways, 450 actually being pretty accurate here from Roars. Not sure how many gun plotters it has. It's got just the one that I see. Anything else in here? No, I think just the one. Stationary target, though, it is able to line up a couple shots. Still horribly overpanning as we see just basically no damage being dealt. If Dramis is on the ball, they should wake up and move this thing. I'm not sure what they're microing, though. They've got a whole fleet plus their 450 liner to deal with, so All right, Acello's kind of cresting over the top of the rock right now. They are getting some rail shots into their guts here as we see those smoke through there. That said, though, they're not really getting the best hits possible. The rails have not had a huge influence this game because the front line has moved this far forward and there was never a line of sight that they wanted. You want to make sure that you're taking your support assets and putting them in a position where they can provide direct fire support. If the rails had moved up to, say, over top of this rock as they push over and fired onto those monitors or these Acellos earlier on, that could have been a very different engagement over this side. They would have had to think twice as they would have been suffering reactor criticals and such. So, though, you don't want to be taking sustained rail fire like these guys are, as they're going to start adding up a little bit. See these crits here. This is kind of a case of compounding failure where 1 or 2 rail hits, not that scary, but if you get like 12 of these rail shots barked into you very quickly, as we see them now going through and cycling with their turrets there, due to all of these energy regulators making these things really rapid firing, you're going to start seeing some serious crits build up, especially in these areas where the work speed build up like that. See that? That's a 50%. This one is a 68%. This one down to 50% again. So yeah, those work speed debuffs means that you can essentially soft lock a ship, keeping the damage control teams really ineffectively trying to repair here. So they have to clear through various things before they can get to actually repairing the vessel. And his beam destroyer is going to get knocked out on the nose here as it walks into the wrong neighborhood, and the 450 plus, I believe it's the C30s in the nose here, are going to be punching into this thing. Yeah, C30s letting her rip, as that is going to be a lot of damage. That beam is going to go down. Does not have any reinforcements here, really. A lot of damage control. Wow, that's a lot of damage control for a small ship like this. But anyways, people choose how they want to spend their points. I just assess them, and I give my slight opinions here and there, depending on what you might want to pick. Anyways, Dramas over here, going to do some 450 fire into these, what are these, Axfords and stuff? Yeah, Railfords is the working term. I'm used to saying Railcello, so my tongue tried to go there. Anyways, Thrusters are going to get the initial salvo here. They are still Axfords. That said, though, Rails are quite fragile. Like, compared to the way they were previously, where they had a little bit of resilience, right now it's like 15 damage threshold. I think they're only like 150 hit points. So these things pretty paper right now. If they keep taking 450 fire like that, they are going to break or get knocked out, or some other systems might go down, like these reactors. So have to be careful about how you engage there. They are bow tanking correctly, but Rails are not really going to do much against the bulk freighter broadside like this. They'll just punch through one compartment and then that's it. They're not going to get the full stack piercing like we saw over on the, on this one where they were critting out these things. So if the rails let up, then it means that you can fix your systems. Have to make sure that you break you have to break line of sight with the rails, and then you have to go repair. Anyways, that's a little theory things we're teaching people. OSB ahead by about 80 points here, looking to close out that victory. Does ANS have anything to attack a third point? Not really looking like it. Kind of just coming in here, and we're going to see if this beam is ready or not. There's no radar coverage over here on D side. That is one thing to note. ANS did not really bring that much in the way of carrier play. They brought a couple of like screening fighters here and there on like the battleship, and I think these Axords had a flight or two, but they did not have any of the situational awareness aircraft that they might want. So this is going to be their first indicator that there's a attack going towards D side, as now they are on radar here. I believe the destroyer just came around the corner, right? No, they're registered by something. What sees them? What does see them, actually? They must just be spotted by that little frigate over here. Yeah. This thing, I think, just barely can see them over top of the rock. We should see them disappear. Yep, there you go. So breaking line of sight. So destroyer should be able to see them. Edge is now going to be issuing some gunfire orders. So we'll see the beam and stuff bear to target. See bang and beam locking on here. That said, there's still a pair of these guys. They have clearly ate a reactor crit at some point, as that is a lot of burnt chicken nugget status that has been assigned to them. Anyways, how about a little bit more, shall we? Wah! Just going to be completely gutting this thing as the beam eats good. There goes the RPF rounds against its buddy, electing to use those right now. Possibly didn't even know that these things were cooked like so, and just trying to use RPF to sandblast them. Generally want to have HE against tugs, because the RPF rounds just kind of, they get largely soaked and not deal damage. Although what does deal damage is that beam. Anyways, size 2s as a desperate last play. ARAD Act is the name of the game. Defenders trying it. One gets shot down, the other goes after chaff. Nicely done there. D point is going to be secured though briefly. And I think that OSB is just still slated to win this. It is a cute play, as they do manage to like clean up this little D side flank here. So normally in a game where there's more time, that would be a nice move. You managed to take these 2 tugs, but unfortunately that buys them a little bit more time, gets them a couple more ticks. 900 to 780. I don't see a way for ANS to get back into this game. BB is getting blasted here by all of this plasma and 250 and 100 mil. Yeah. Let's take a look inside of these things. How are these? Oh, that's what's cranking fire out. Triple rapid cradle. So yeah, that is going to give you incredibly fast rate of fire. Unloads your plasma autoloader super quick and has the C30 follow-up for it. So It's your choice on the nose gun if you want the C30 or the C56. Personally, I like the C56 because the 250 AP round is nice for finishing off wounded ships like this. That said, apparently they don't need any help as this thing is going to bite the dust. No more restores left, possibly just electing to punch out on this. We don't get any notification from players there, unfortunately, but I think they might have just seen the writing on the wall, looked at the caps, realized that their ship was kind of toasted. So yeah, that's going to be that. Yeah. Rapid Cradles on OSP side is incredibly fun just due to the rate of fire you can get. Like the rapid bursts where you just unload a whole bunch of plasma or 100 mil, 250 as well. Heck, even 450. Just anything you can rapid cradle on OSP side, you just get those really nice bursts. Looks good. The ammo elevators on this guy instead because they want to get that rate of fire since these only have an autoloader of 3, so not really going to get the rapid cradle benefit. Technically does something, but it's minimal. So anyways, a couple shots going away into Ziggurat's last ship here. Writing is on the wall as they are going to be knocked out here. Aux steering barely keeping it in the game. Same with the reinforced drive. So technically that'll save you for like another second or two, but it's not going to save your ship in total. So yep, that's going to be OSP approaching their victory now. 44 points to go. There we are. That's going to be now taking over 38 to win. So yeah, we do see the carrier player is going to be keeping on launching their stuff. I'm liking to see how they did their carrier stuff. They recognized the wounded ships. They did not YOLO their stuff into a bunch of the point defense network that was kind of around here. We saw these escort ships, although they're kind of blown up right now with this reactor glow in the background. We saw that they had the option for a VLS-2 and some of these little guns to shoot down incoming fighters along the chaff box just to add defensives. So carrier play is about being patient, planning your stuff ahead of time, making sure you have flights in the right spot. Leviathan being good sports saying, want to call it a draw? Saying, all right, we accept your surrender now, OSP. Good sports about that. So we're going to just watch as the last of this is going to go down here. Here comes a flight of bombers. Rockets, ahoy. They're going to be looking to just pick that one up. Again, finding ships that have degraded PD, so carrier players, much in the same way as missileer support players, you want to wait until you have a craft that you've identified, looked at the point defense, seen it take maybe a gunshot or two, and be like, all right, I think I know what I can do here. You coordinate with your team, acting as that support asset, and you can do some seriously strong gameplay. We saw over here, it was like the Axford that had gotten wounded before. The carrier player elected to bring in a couple of rocket strikes and torpedoes against it just to close it out, so that's going to be us calling it a GG there, as that will be the game. Still, ANS, this is actually the first OSP win we have that I have been streaming for, which is a bit unfortunate because the last game I was in crashed. Let me just export that battle report so I can get that to Vastal. We're doing a post-game summary later on in, I'm not actually sure which server we're going to be doing that, but it's going to be a little compilation of all the games that we've been doing for the event tonight and then seeing where we go from those. So, yeah, saw some cappers go through stuff. I'm going to say, GG, well played. Please clear server so we can host another. All right, yeah, just saw some good damage. Dramus managed to get a nice little 11k on that thing. Carrier over here, we see they had some Sturgeon flights and Barracudas as well. Good stuff on that. And then, yeah, we'll just wait till everyone else is out of here and then dip ourselves. And then I'll let Vastal know that the server is good to go. Anyways, chat, we're going to take a little 3-minute ad break into Meowshin here, and then we can come back for some more Nekoboy Nebulous nonsense. So I will catch you in 3-ish minutes or so. Be right back. Meow meow.